Hello, how are you? My name is Rajiv Ambat. I'm the CEO and the Chief Health Officer at NuvoVivo Center for Obesity, Lifestyle Disorders and Research. We are an online health and fitness company, and we work with our clients across different parts of the world and help them manage lifestyle diseases such as PCOD, diabetes, cholesterol, etc. In this video, I'm going to talk about how do we help our clients who are having PCOD and help them get back to a healthy lifestyle. And I will also explain how the program structure works and also bits and pieces of information with regards to the things one needs to do, both from a nutrition perspective and also from a exercise perspective if a person has PCOD. So what is that we do? Essentially, PCOD has a lot of correlation with regards to the lifestyle. Most of the women who are having polycystic ovarian disease or PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, both names are invariably used, will have either an extra or excessive body weight. They will be overweight, or they might be having a bad body composition. What I mean by body composition is percentage amount of muscle mass versus percentage amount of fat mass, which basically means that in your total weight, how much of that weight is fat and how much of that weight is lean muscle mass. So we have seen people who are having perfectly normal weight, but if you look at the composition of that weight, they would be flipping more towards fat mass more than the lean muscle mass. So this kind of has an impact on the metabolic parameters of the body, especially with regards to the insulin sensitivity of the body, and it eventually leads up to hormonal balance of sex hormones, estrogen and testosterone, leading to PCOS or PCOD. So what happens is that when your body becomes insulin resistant or sensitivity towards the insulin has reduced, then the blood glucose levels will increase, because insulin is the hormone which helps in bringing down the blood glucose levels. And when your body becomes resistant to insulin, blood glucose levels will stay elevated. So our body responds to these elevated blood glucose levels by in turn producing more insulin. But what happens is that as the insulin amount in our body increases, the ovaries will respond to it by creating more testosterone, or the male sex hormone. And as the male sex hormone levels increase in the body, it kinds of leads to impaired menstrual cycle, or acne, facial hair growth. All these things will come up, right? And it becomes really a problem, especially for young couples who are actually planning to have a child. So this requires management from both nutrition point and exercise point of view, and also from more from a sleep, rest and recovery point of view. We help our clients with regards to one, on the nutrition aspect, second on the exercise aspect, and also there's a third element which comes in, which is all about giving all necessary handhold support, motivation. And people will have a lot of queries and doubts with regards to what they should be doing if they have traveling or if they have a party to attend, so on and so forth. And that's where we come in and help our clients. So what we essentially do is that we come up with a diet plan, a nutrition plan, wherein we plan this diet based upon the eating habits, cultural habits, preferences of food, any medical conditions other than PCOD, if any medicines that you have had in past, or maybe something that you are currently having. Based on all these details, we come up with a calorie structured diet plan. So few tips around the diet would be that obviously we need to reduce the amount of the processed carbohydrates, because processed carbohydrates will immediately create an insulin spike, which lead to extra testosterone and kind of worsen the PCOD symptoms. So we need to manage carbohydrates. But that does not mean that you stop eating rice or you stop eating your favorite food. It's about being sensible with the food that you're eating. For example, if you like eating rice, and if you're a major rice eater like me, then you can still manage PCOD by including right amount of fiber and right amount of protein along with that carbohydrate. So managing PCOD or becoming healthy or shedding some weight does not mean you staying away from carbohydrates, or especially staying away from rice, right? So we come up with a plan which structures around that, and we change this plan depending upon the centimeters lost around the belly and the weight lost. Yeah, depending upon that, we will change it on a once in 2 weeks kind of time frame. So that's about the diet. Also, another thing which we have seen women especially do with regards to if they are having PCOD or sometimes even thyroid is that they might be overweight, so they'll end up severely restricting the dietary fat. Now, yes, fat is very rich in calories, but fat is also a very important macronutrients, because let me tell you, the sex hormone essentially, which is testosterone and estrogen, the imbalance of this is what is PCOD, right? These sex hormones are nothing but steroid based hormones, and this actually is structurally similar to fat. And dietary fat is very, very important to have right kind of hormonal balance. So, and also there are certain other micronutrients such as vitamin A, vitamin D, etc., which will be absorbed only if there is fat in the diet. So fat needs to be included in the diet, even though it is calorie dense. But I also need to emphasize that some fat is good for the body, some fat are bad. Some fat creates cholesterol, some fat is good for the body. So what kind of fat should you avoid, and what fat is good for a PCOD person? Avoid trans fat, which is all sort of hydrogenated vegetable oil, dalda, margarine, all these kind of fat. Avoid that. And these things are largely seen in food that you buy from outside, especially the fried food, etc., that you buy from outside. Reheated oil, etc., would be trans fat. And increase unsaturated fat, and especially monounsaturated fat is very, very helpful for women who are having PCOD related issues. Monounsaturated fat would be almonds, avocado. These will be nuts. All these are monounsaturated fat, and it's helpful. If a person also has to lose weight in the process of managing the menstrual cycle, it's suggested that the person gets onto a calorie deficit. Now, when you do a calorie deficit, it's important that you don't create a huge calorie deficit. Calorie deficit of around 500 calories is the right way of going it when you want to manage PCOD. So what we do is that we kind of make all these things simpler and take the headache of planning the whole thing, and we'll create a diet plan which we will change on once in 2 weeks basis, depending upon the centimeters lost around the belly and the weight lost. So that's about the exercise plan. Now comes the second part, which is that's about the diet plan. Now comes the second part, which is the exercise plan. Now, there are different types of exercises, cardiovascular exercises such as running, swimming, cycling. Weight training is a second type of exercise, or also known as resistance training. And there's a third variety called yoga, which is all about flexibility, breathing ability, alignment of energy across the 7 chakras of the body, so on and so forth. Now, all these three exercises are good for the body, but you need to be doing them based upon your physical conditions. If a person is having an IVDP or intravertebral disc prolapse or a back pain, then going and doing kilometers of running may not be a good idea at all. Jumping jacks or these kind of exercises which are heavy on the knees, such as running, etc., will not be suggested, should not be done if a person is having, say, these kind of issues, or even arthritis, for example. Whereas at the same time, if a person is having, say, flares of piles or fistula, then lifting weights or a gym-based exercises might not be a great idea. So even exercises needs to be done depending upon the physical conditions of the body. So, and that's where again we come in and then help in terms of structuring the exercises. So we would be giving you an exercise video that we would want our clients to do for at least 5 days in a week. We suggest that if you're a beginner, you need to be doing it for at least half an hour in a day for 5 days in a week. And we would be giving you these exercises in a video format. We will be sending both this diet and exercises to both WhatsApp, your WhatsApp, and also on emails. And we will be following up with you on a occasional basis. And that's where the follow-up and the support comes. Now, depending upon, there are two types of programs that we do. One that we call as a low touch, and another one is called as a high touch. In the low touch program, the follow-up happens once in 3 days on WhatsApp messages and occasional telephonic calls. And these follow-up is meant to keep a check on you, to understand if you're able to follow the plan and how well are you doing it, are you doing your exercises, are you adhering to it, etc. And we will also be having bi-weekly progress status update with regards to how much are you weighing right now, how much centimeters have you lost around the belly. All that will happen on a low touch program. On a high touch program, we would also be calling you on an alternate day basis. So high touch program is essentially low touch with a little more of support and hand holding on direct calls on an alternate day basis. So that's what a high touch program is. So essentially, becoming healthy and becoming fit can be done in a very sustainable, flexible manner, and that's very important, because if you can't do this for rest of your life, then it becomes like a few months circus that we would be doing to just kind of temporarily sort that issue. It has to be meant for a lifetime, and if you're doing something for your lifetime, it's very important that you do it in a very sustainable and flexible manner. It has to be something that you're able to eat with rest of your family. It has to be something that you can cook for everybody together, and it has to be something that is you can have for rest of your life, and you should be enjoying it also. In the name of managing PCOD and becoming healthy, if you end up building a wrong or a bad relationship with food, that would be a very wrong thing that you are doing. And that's where we specifically say that all good things in life takes time and is very simple, but it just needs a little bit of a patience and a little bit of hand holding. That's what we are here to provide you. I hope to see you in that program. Thank you. Bye. Take care.